Welcome to the Consciousness of the Way. I'm your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Quinn. And we have an incredible guest here today to the channel, my dear friend, Nikki Sheppard. Welcome, friend.
Yes, welcome. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Oh my goodness,
for having me.
this has just been I've been excited all weekend waiting for this moment. So
Too.
we're here, and we're in the consciousness, the conscious awareness, the whole mindset of this reality, the world that we live in. And I'm just really excited to share your message and tell the viewers more about you and what your mission is, where you're going, what you're sharing, your light, your viewpoint. Um,
Yes.
yeah,
I'm excited.
yeah. I would love to hear more.
Well, my name is Nikki Sheppard, and I am a psychotherapist and a life coach. But I love life coaching more than anything because I've been doing psychotherapy for a while. I've had my license since 2012 and moved into life coaching probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I work with people all over the world with life coaching, but as far as psychotherapy, just here in the state of Texas. So I'm able to see people and diagnose them and give them all types of strategies and tips and tools to be able to manage whatever's showing up for them in their life right now in the season. So if they're dealing with some depression, anxiety, grief, fear, any of those things, I work with them alongside them to help them find some different tools to be helpful. Life coaching is really special to me. It's my baby right now, though, because I'm able to really show people my personality and work with people and share more, not from a clinical standpoint, but more from a spiritual standpoint. So I share some of the things that I do personally to help myself, which is dancing, singing, doing artwork, meditation, yoga, exercise. All those things have been really helpful for me. Tapping, what else do I do? All kinds of things to help my clients.
Yes. I mean, Nikki and I became fast friends. We met
Yeah,
each other over social media, and as we always like to remind people, there are no coincidences, and that frequency, energy, vibration just met. It met in the middle. We spoke the same language, meeting of the minds, however you want to perceive it, and
yeah,
here we are, nurturing this incredible friendship that happened so quickly, and
yeah. I want to
it
share
was
that. I want to
yes,
share
please go
that.
ahead, share that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was, I went on a cruise. My mom turned 75, so she planned this cruise on Carnival, and all the women in the family went. So we were there, and I was staying with my daughter. And I looked at my phone. I was on Instagram in the morning, and you were on there. Some kind of way you popped up in my feed. And so I started listening, and I was like, wow, I really like what he's saying. And so then I went to your page. I'm listening to all of your reels, and I was there for like 30 minutes to an hour, just hooked. And I can't remember which one exactly really stood out to me, but I know when I finished and we were getting ready to go start our day, I took my journal out and I wrote down that today I'm going to meet someone, and I know contracts are involved, and this person is going to help me level my business. And it just so happened that I've been working on singing and working on a song. I'm having a song come out here in the next couple months. And I didn't know it was going to be in alignment with that, but I went ahead and wrote it down. Later on that day, I went and listened to some live music and met two individuals that I ended up going up to and asking them what I could do to sing on a cruise. And they both were very complimentary and helpful and gave me some tips and some things. And next thing I know, they wanted a reel. And so I'll be sending a reel to them with a possible contract as a guest performer, if not a regular performer on the cruise lines.
That is amazing.
So it's a dream that I've always had since I was little, like I was sharing with you, before our broadcast here. Since I was 5 years old, my mom would be getting ready to do my hair, and she'd be collecting the barrettes and the rubber bands and the grease. If anybody knows what that is, back in the day, and I would grab my brush, and my mom would put on the record Diana Ross, "Why Do Birds Sing So Gay?" And I would start singing and pretending that I was her as a little girl. So from there, I would perform at different things throughout my life, but just to have that opportunity and to have the boldness and the confidence, I attribute that to being able to listen to you that day and you coming across my page. And so from there we had a conversation, and we started talking about some things, in terms of doing podcasts, this
Yeah.
podcast, and then having you come on my podcast as well, which is
Yes.
Forbidden Knowledge platform.
Right.
I was so excited to even talk to you. I said, "Oh my,"
Yeah.
but something told me he's your teacher. And so I didn't question it. I didn't overthink it. I just felt so confident in you coming across my path at the exact time that I needed you. So I thank you so much for the work that you do for the global population, because you're spreading so much knowledge. And I really love this, and I'll say this about you too, is that you're so consistent. It's very inspiring. It's not just one video here and there, which I can be guilty of. Um, but it's twice a day, three times a day. It's whether it's on your physical page or in your stories, and you just don't know how much that means to be able to open up my Instagram. And I think because I'm thinking of your business and the way so often you're at the top of my feed every time, and I'm like, oh, I need that. I can take that nugget and continue on with my day.
And that is a profound realization, because that really is truly the essence and seed of why it's continual. It's not just because people continually tell me, it's like, I can't believe you were right there at the right time, and I needed to hear that. I look forward to it. And I want to remind people of how powerful they are, how all-knowing they are, and that, if I've got to do it once, twice, three times a day, and you didn't catch me yesterday, you got me this morning, you get me next week, it's important that you remember that you realize how powerful you are and how all-knowing you are. And it really makes me very grateful to hear that from you. And I get that from a lot of people, where it's really inspiring, because everything is a living energy, frequency, vibration. So you're always taking a moment where the rippling effects of the ebb and flow of the universe are speaking to you. So you're going to constantly get more of what you're looking for. And in this case, the message coming from whatever I'm saying is the perfect message you need to hear right there at that particular moment, that's necessary for you to get a little higher. And that energy is where you just like expand. And that feeling, and how you were speaking more about the feeling that was so powerful, is that feeling is all it takes for you to realize your 5D reality, for you to realize manifestation, healing, magic, anything that you want, is taking it from the feeling. And that's where I want to really continue the message for people, to have them understand that they don't have to be in the lotus position. They don't have to have 27 guides, 3 incense, a
Right.
specific, real
Clap
detailed
on
sort of
the
like,
leg. Clap like.
exa- right, right. And because you have it within you, but you have to realize it, because people will get distracted by their emotions. Their emotions make them suggestible. Their emotions make them believe that that stimulation that they're having at that moment is real. And that's the biggest mistake. That's the mistake that they make. And I don't need to tell you, you being an expert in that field, this is probably something that you contend with on a daily basis, is people struggling with, well, am I caught in the past? Am I caught in today? Or am I caught in 5 years ago, 20 years ago? What's the emotion that's weighing me down? The thought, the emotion, the feeling, and the feeling and emotion are separated. That makes this real to me, that I can't move forward with my reality. And that empowering moment that you shared with the audience, on how that, just that brief second of whatever I said that got you to realize, that raised your energy, frequency, vibration up, and then you manifested that to take place instantaneously. And I
So
mean, it's so powerful. It's so powerful, but it's a recognizing realization. And it's sort of like what most people don't accept, is that they are. They're sort of like, oh, I've been told I'm egotistical, or I can't think like that. That means that I don't believe in God, or I can't have an almighty view on things. I can't be realized as all knowing. But you are. And when
right.
you are able to confirm it, and confirm it again, and confirm it again. And I always say, do it once, twice, three times a lady, you get it done. and you will start to believe it yourself. And I will continue reiterating it until it becomes realized by everybody that they have this power. And that's where I'm very grateful to hear that from you and have you share that with the audience.
Yeah, well, and what was so interesting is that, being a psychotherapist in particular, like people don't may not realize that we also need to have our cup filled. We also
Right.
need to, be able to be connected with people that are as powerful and inspiring and impactful as you
Yeah.
to be able to help ourselves because we go
Yeah.
through things as well. And me personally, I was married for 20 years and with my ex for 25. And our marriage ended, and it was really a tough season for me. It was right before the pandemic. I had just moved to LA and opened a business. So I'm a new business owner in a new city, and I'm single, after 20 something years. My kids weren't there, they were grown and starting their lives. And here I am still helping people, but going through what I was going through. And so I'm so thankful for my journey and me being open to, I don't care what he or she looks like. I don't care where they come from. If they're speaking my language and they're sharing something that I know can help me, that can refuel me, that can ignite me and, up level me, then I'm going to tap in. And 100%, I'm not going to overthink it, and that's how it was when I found you. That's how it was when I found so many people on my path. And, that's why I think that, people think that maybe we don't go through anything, but the same thing that I share with them, I have to do as well, which a lot of times that veers into exercise, that veers into singing, that veers into, neural feedback, different tapping, different things, strategies that can help people heal. And now I'm so glad that I'm on this part of my journey where I'm learning about energy healing, and so I can teach that to myself and my children and my family and my sphere of influence. And because there's not, I think when you're open to it, it shows up, what is that saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and so I feel like when you're ready, that will present itself to you. And energy healing, I'm so excited about learning about it because I can help so many people realize that we don't have to keep rehearsing these stories, and our thoughts that are like really paralyzing us from moving forward. And that's how I felt personally, is that, I was so sad about the loss. I took it as a severe failure. And it was gratitude that helped me realize, you know what? I have so much to be grateful for. So I came up with this acronym called LGG. And I tell my clients and people I work with and myself, what are the lessons? What's the growth? And what are you grateful for? So in every pain point, every tragic situation or hard thing that you're going through, difficult thing, challenging season, no, I'm not going to, I can spend time thinking about it, unraveling and unpacking it, every single detail, every time I cried, everything that was done to me, everything that was said to me. Or I can stop myself and say, you know what? I want to think about the lessons. Lessons don't have to be bad. Maybe I realized that I needed to use my voice more. I needed to own who I was. What was the growth? Well, I grew because I didn't have to go through that, but I was able to, now I'm more confident. Now I'm more bold. Now I'm okay. I'm safe in my own skin. What am I grateful for? Well, how do you say that about something that was painful? Especially if it's something concerning death. A lot of times my clients will say, well, what can I be grateful about? And I'll tell them, well, you didn't have to have that person in your life at all. You didn't have to experience them being in your life, even if it was for a year, even if it was for 3 months, even if it was for, 10 years. They were a part of your life for that season. So what were the best parts of that you can take away and realize that, I was a better person because they helped me with this or they helped me with that. So I just feel that that's important too, to focus on. And I share this all the time, to focus on the wins versus the losses, because we all have those. We all go through things.
That's a beautiful perception, because I mean, really, this is the thing that I reiterate over and over again, and we're so like-minded like that. It's understanding that, is the glass half full or half empty? And that simplicity comes right back to the rippling effects of, and I use this, I would call this more from a Taoist perspective, it's just wu wei, effortless action, effortless effort. You could ripple over into more hermetic, kinetic principles like law of attraction, understanding that you are in a state. This is your truth teller, your magnet. And the second you say it is so, it will be realized. So when you accept and allow yourself, and it will be drawn to you like that. And you're coming to the realization of how powerful you are. And when you're not limited by the limiter, where you're not thinking, you're knowing. Thinking and knowing are two different things. When you're knowing, you're all feeling. You're not thinking. And so that's where people get confused. And if you have to process it, take a moment and let yourself immerse yourself in that feeling, because that's the truth right there. And you're going to get it every time.
Those two words stand out to me and stood out to me when I was listening to the way, accept and allow. You kept saying that. And I remember just this morning, I was doing one of the meditations there. Do you call them meditations, or what's the form?
I call them more experiences, because it has such a massive rippling effect. Yet, I mean, in essence, meditation in of itself, it's an experience, because there's not a second that you spend on the way that can't be realized in validating what you got out of it. So from using that Easter egg that I spoke on, you will be able to realize that you are ramping up your truth teller, your neurology. You're going to feel it. So you're going to be able to instantly realize that you can materialize this energy, frequency, vibration just by asking. And so I want to experience the way 126. After the first time, you can replicate that feeling, which puts you into a brainwave state that gives you the realization that you are the universe. So that feeling is all it takes. And so when you're not emotionally attached, because when you create the feeling, like within the way 126, the feeling is very clear. You evoke gamma and alpha, theta frequencies so that you're highly conscious and you're pliable at the same time. So you're absorbing everything and you're able to realize instantaneously that frequency is coherent with the earth and the universe. So you will have, some people will call it what they call a coherent state, where, there are some people that are out there that have coined this state of consciousness using the neurology and the physiology to determine a state of consciousness. What I want people to be mindful of is that is not a patent experience. That is a very ancient practice to synchronize the heart with the brain, or the middle dantian with the upper dantian with the lower dantian. It's not all of a sudden materialized in some type of neuroplasticity or neuroscience. This is a very ancient system, and it'll ripple over into Taoism, into other ancient Hinduism, into ancient practices that have been going on, Kemetic practices that have been going on for thousands of years, but they're realized in more contemporary sort of setting where someone will go, oh, that's that guy's process. Well, no, it's not. It's just that he's been able to articulate it in a way that people would be like, oh, that's that guy's. And I'm not using names because we all know what I'm talking about, but understand that that's a beautiful realization. And I'm very grateful that he's able to articulate it to have people realize the neurological outcome. But, you do have that neural network in your brain that is in your heart. So you have a mini heart in your brain. And so that sensory perception, that synchronizing of that neurology from the heart to the brain is realized instantaneously. Now, mirror neurons are lent on all the time to get a prescribed response. This is how you get a rippling effect. If you're watching something within like a sporting event, or you're in a large group of people, when you experience something that what someone might realize as an empathic experience, where you're feeling other people's emotions. You're watching a football game and someone hits a home run and everyone's like, yeah. And there's a rippling effect throughout the audience, throughout the TV. If you're in a bar, if you're out in the field, whatever, because they're the mirror neurons that are synchronizing with everyone else's energy, frequency, and vibration. And so it's all being realized at the same time. So you're being able to feel it and you're like, whoa, That's something else.
Yeah, I wanted to say it correctly because I'm like, it doesn't feel like meditation. It feels like it's something more
And
powerful than that, if that is even
and I
imaginable.
right, and I appreciate that because it's integrated. I can consider it a contemporary offering of an ancient practice. So I'm using ancient Nigong and Qigong like integration. So every letter, every number, every word, every color has a place and a purpose that is going to have you realize your own power, and it will be unique to the individual. And as you continue that process, you go through the 9 transitions, synchronizing the heart, brain, and the gut, then experiencing the 126 experience. It will be realized by your unconscious to conscious merging, because ultimately the goal is you want to be conscious at a level that is all knowing. And to do that, the unconscious behavior becomes not even existent. And that's a realization of, hang on, well, that on a neural level, that doesn't seem possible. Well, let's be really honest. To Nikki, myself, and the audience, there's a lot of things that cannot be defined right now. And in the space of consciousness, no one can define that.
Right.
And so it's like it's kind of like, asking a physicist to define gravity. They can't define it.
Yeah.
And within a quantum mechanic model, a quantum theory model, they're still having an issue defining gravity, which is all encompassing the superglue that makes the realized wave to matter particle experience that is the cluster of your thought, feeling, and emotion or reality. That's the anchoring. That is the gravity, which is the 0 point energy. Anyway, we could go on, but in
Wow.
reality, this is all part and parcel. So yes, and I'm very grateful that you recognize that, because at a certain point, what will happen is you'll either be highly awake or you will be asleep. It will put you out, depending upon where the energy is in your body. So to truly surrender to it is to put the headset on and to put yourself in a sort of a homeostasis, sort of like state of lying, because it's an autonomous behavior that instantly puts you in a place where you can neutralize things and dampen your senses, or not dampen them, but put them all in their right place. So those first 5, you level up on those 5, and then there is no end. So when someone goes, oh, there's 5 senses, and then they go, oh, I've got a 6th sense. Well, there's a 9 sense, an 18 sense, a 20. I mean, we can continue depending upon how deep you go into your consciousness, because your consciousness is all knowing. Once you're all knowing, the idea of being limited by physiology is just that.
Sir, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
when I was doing it today, I was laying on the couch and I have a fig tree. And what was interesting is that during one of them, I think it was the water experience, I noticed, no, I'm sorry, it was the earth experience.
Yes.
I noticed that my fig tree was like moving, especially the top limbs were moving. I noticed it. And so when I finished, I went ahead and I looked. I was like, okay, well, I looked up and the fan wasn't going. And then I checked my air. I said, well, maybe my air was on. I was just, the thing, what'd you say? Thinking and knowing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're processing. It's like, hang on a second. This is a first for me. I got to do something to validate what this is.
Right. Well, I knew it was a spiritual experience. I was like, something shifted. I was so excited, but I almost wanted to prove it to myself, right? So I went and I looked at the air, and the air wasn't on. So I know it was me being still in a resting state, accepting and allowing, that allowed that experience to happen. And so I said, and things like that for me, I get so excited because it lets me know I'm on the right track. And then
Oh
also
yeah.
things I can share with the people that I impact and influence too.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you're on the perfect journey for your own realization and tapping into those powers. And we all have them, and it's really my main focus and mission is to have everyone realize that. That's why by creating the way 126, using Nigong and Qigong, understanding the principles of quantum physics and epigenetics, integrating those into the 11 herbs and spices that are also proprietary Taoist, like ancient practices that are integrated into that experience. It's all encompassing. So you kind of like, all of a sudden, I get a lot of different. I had a subscriber that didn't even think about it, and she started using the whey, and then next minute she healed herself and then healed her dying dog. And I was
Wow.
like, right. It's like she had a dog that was, basically the vet said, look, the dog's going to die any moment now. You might as well just and so she started the way 126. She had a physical ailment that disappeared that had been plaguing her for years. And it was completely, I identified it and I gave her a much deeper understanding of the mental emotional cluster that was regenerating and materializing into this physical ailment. Anyway, she completely destroyed that. It was like literally like woke up the next day, it was gone completely. And I was just like, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. And then her dog, all of a sudden, boom, gone. And eventually the dog transitioned, but it was 8 or 9 months later from a terminal diagnosis that a doctor said, you should put this dog down. And
Wow.
so so what happens is, especially with animals, is they're like a vehicle that they contain. They don't have a past or a future. They live in the moment. So they are purely the gift. The gift is your offering. The present, the gift, which is the present,
Right.
gift, present, moment, now, here, that is realized. And so animals just remind you of, unconditional love and acceptance. And
Mm,
so then they're this
love
huge,
that.
huge tool. And I have a lot of people that are like, oh my goodness, I've had 47 rovers in the last 3 years. They all died from cancer. Well, what's not being realized is the reason those dogs are dying is because that person is transferring their mental emotional state to that animal. And
Mm,
so when you use an animal, a service animal concept, and you're like, oh, well, this is what we're doing. We're connecting someone with an animal that makes them feel calm and makes it, because they're transferring all their stuff to that animal. And the sad seed at the end is the imminent, death of that particular animal due to the owner's mental emotional state. And
wow.
so this is materializing all the time. So she got all her stuff together and she was like completely basically healed herself, healed her dog, gave her dog another 8 months worth of life. And,
Wow.
then she sort of felt really bad. It's like, well, did I do this? It's like, absolutely not. I mean, these are all experiences that you're having. And at this point, it was time the dog was like 13, 14 years old. It was a very long lifespan and it was an incredible lifespan. And her realization of healing herself and realizing how powerful she was
Mhm.
is where it just levels up around you, because your emission, everything that's coming out of you is of such a high frequency that when people connect with that field of frequency of energy, miracles take place all over the place. You just like start walking around and like, wow, it's happening here, it's happening here, it's happening here. And people are just like, I just like being around Nikki. I don't know what it is. There's something. I mean, you have that energy as it stands right now with
Thank you.
everything you've experienced. You have this incredible uh, 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 maternal earth energy, extremely realized, and a lot of yin. But we need to tweak the yin. We're going to bring that up because your intuition and your awareness is so heightened. Your intuition is crazy accurate. And so now it's like about accepting how powerful you are. And
Mm.
that's the next step on our journey here, is that acceptance, because those floodgates are going to open up like you've never seen before, because it's already there. And that, but then it's always the human being experience.
Like, I go back. Yeah, my head gets in the way. I was going to ask you if you would read my aura.
Yes. Okay. Sure. Absolutely. Right now. Okay. So it's strange. We look at this. There's many different levels. You're sort of rippling on an aura level, all encompassing. You're between a golden yellow and a peach color aura. And I want people to understand that the general aura per se of anybody will fluctuate between their mental emotional state on a daily basis. So you can capture someone doing one thing, and then 5 minutes later, the aura will be in a completely different like range of colors,
Oh,
depending upon what's going on here. So right now, you're extremely grounded, and your heart is open. So this is in reflected of that. You're starting to see the rippling effects of your aura being very vibrant, very yellow almost going to gold now, and your halo is a gold color. So these are all higher vibrational energies that you start taking or transmuting into. Now, when you look at the rainbow, which is basically a better understanding of the wave frequencies that are transmitted from the sun's light. So that materializes. So in a lot of practices, ancient practices, people would call the ascension to the rainbow body as the ultimate. So when you take the rainbow body ascension and you are realized as the rainbow body, you are one with everything. And then, of course, you obtain access to anything and everything. So that rainbow body is interesting. You said you're wearing your rainbow dress.
Yes, guys, check it out. I've got green, yellow, orange.
and now symbolic of green. What when you it's interesting. So you're now very grounded. Your very heart is open, right? Okay, we have the underlying effects of some of the emotional content for your spleen. So if we go through the 5 organs, you've got the heart, the liver, the lungs, the kidneys, and the spleen. Now, the spleen is related to basically homeostasis. You can generate in excess when you're in excess, and it is a little excess, so that can transmute into more OCD sort of behavior. You need to control things a little more, and that's just the storage of that energy. And that the worst thing that you could do at this point is to eat any sugar. That's the last thing you want to do, because it will just ramps it right up there. And then you're like, I have
in the freezer.
Pardon me? Go ahead.
I have some ice cream in the freezer.
Yeah.
Throw it away.
But well, in the sense of that will ramp up the anxiety. If you notice, if you eat sugary foods afterwards, you're like, I got to get things done. I don't know. Things have to happen. I got to get on top of it. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but because that is amplifying the fuel and the fire of the emotions that are stored within that spleen channel. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I'm done with it.
Well, no. I mean, once you regulate that and you're able to get the flow going, that'll just disappear. You can walk through walls. You can eat 5 tubs of ice cream and be all day, every day. It won't make a difference. But as it stands on a physical sort of transmuted level, because those emotions are stored in that particular organ, that obsessive compulsive sort of like behavior of control, myopic. Does this make sense? So you tell me when you want me to stop.
It does. It does.
So this is interesting. So when you look at that channel, then you go to the liver. The liver is like, a lever between storage of an emotion that is more realized, which is like anger, and then and that's something that you've suppressed. It's like you don't realize it that much in your life, even though you may experience it. It's not something that you would like translate into how you project your knowing into the world, even though you feel it, but you internalize it. And so that has transmuted into more of a deficiency within the liver channel, which is an interesting part. It's almost like sometimes you need to embrace that anger, like, let it all out, but you suppress it so much that it's we're gonna take care of that. That's all that. And so you have this incredible maternal patience and understanding, but then there's that point where that OCD stuff gets in there, and then all of a sudden it's translated into, okay, I have this Nikki speaks. I go into sharing my pure essence with my clients, with my friends, with my family, and when it comes down to it, I got nothing left for myself. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it's 100% accurate.
And so that's where we have to get you to realize you are the field. That means that we're not taken from this. This is the vehicle that's going to give you 120, 130, 150 years on this planet Earth. Yes. We have to get you to use the 0 point energy, which is the field, which is the quantum, which is the oneness, and that is for everybody. And so you never have to spend this ever again. This is for functionality, so it can anchor your spirit within this realm, so that you can realize that consciousness. So when we regulate all these things, that you'll never be going back on that. So the heart is really interestingly open. You're very protective of that. You're also very much the second energy center. You're a boundaries person. You like to set them. You do like to set your boundaries, and you best be knowing if you're stepping over those boundaries, because it may be more in a passive aggressive way. You may not necessarily directly tell them. You'll just sort of retreat from a relationship, or yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about that? I don't know if that's good. Well, I guess it's not good
Well, no, I mean, if I am you and you, well, here's the thing: if I am you and you are me, what am I afraid of? What do I need to? It's not like I want to be like, oh, we're out socially hanging out with you, and I'm like laying on top of you. That's sort of like a little unnecessary. Hey, look, Nikki, I want to put my head on your shoulder and just. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you limit this, and this heart being open is something that's kind of new to you, because that's not something that necessarily you have shared. And by sharing, you've been hurt, and by being hurt, you become more protective, and by being more protective, you become hurt, and it can goes around in a cycle like this. And
Yeah.
anyway, this is your truth teller. And so when you protect it and then you suppress it, the information becomes suppressed. So then your intuition is then, not as accurate as you would like it to be, even though it is. You get the message the first time, the message is right. 100, 100. Yet because you're protecting, you filter it, and then it transmutes into all these other things. And of course, the OCD is reflected on the suppression of the emotion of anger, which is a rippling effect. Then you're protecting the heart, the true source of everything, because you have been hurt. And then you're suppressing a lot of this, sadness and grief for things that have happened, even in past lives. But let's just say what you've been able to recognize here in this lifetime. And so this realization of the grief that you're internalizing, which you're very good at. You need to start valuing yourself as much as everyone else does,
Mm,
because you have such an incredible gift to offer, and you are sharing it. You have the ability. It's always so much easier. It's like what's the old expression? It's like it's so much easier to tell others about what you already know, but to apply it to yourself is almost an impossibility.
yes.
And so you have these incredible
Daily
skills to.
daily practice.
Right. And so you have these incredible skills that you're sharing with others. You're helping them identify and heal from all these things. Yet through that journey and through your own personal journey, it's becoming, the slow degradation of your own core essence, which
Mhm.
you're not attending to. You need to attend to. If the old expression, if you can't love yourself, how can you love other people? And
Right.
so that true essence of understanding is critical to. You need to be whole here,
Mhm.
and then you've already mastered helping people. You've already mastered sharing, and look, I have the techniques and the skills to be able to help people realize a way. Now, the faster you realize healing yourself, the faster those skills they're already superhuman. They're going to become like immortal status.
Mm.
So you're now taking that extra piece, and the final, what was it? The lungs, and so that's an excess. The heart is sort of neutral, and it's starting to really open up more because of today's experience, and whatever you're realizing in your life is changing dramatically. It's really beautiful. And the kidneys, of course, that's that part where it's transmuted into the physical ailment like everything else. So now we need to balance these organs, because fear is a huge component of your simulation of reality. And so that, whatever you're in fear of, because you are the magnet. It doesn't matter. You're a master manifester all the time. It's only put in the category of manifestation if it's something that's realized that you wanted, not something you don't want, but you feed. So there's something you don't want that you feed. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of something else. And it materializes instantaneously. Is exactly the same as I'm in love with this. I'm in love with that. I want this. I want that. I want something else. It's all the same. Only you are manifesting all the time. I'm manifesting all the things I don't want. I'm manifesting all the things I do want. Or moreover, I'm blocking the things that I do want with the things that I don't want. And understand the simplicity of this. This magnet will always draw anything you want. If it's materialized in what you believe is your mind, which is really your heart, which consciousness is all knowing, the second a cognitive thought, emotion, and feeling clustered into that realization, it's yours. Understand this, know this to be true. So it's like that simple. So know that the only reason it hasn't materialized, people are like, oh, that's ridiculous. I thought about a Lamborghini, it didn't turn up, because you don't believe it. And that's the big contending factor. Like, and people will go, well, have you ever thought about a Lamborghini and it just turned up 3 seconds later? I've never wanted a Lamborghini to turn up 3 seconds later. Have I realized and manifested anything and everything in my life that is today? 100%. And do I bear witness to magic, manifestation, healing instantaneously before my very eyes, all day, every day for over 30 years? I've got thousands of stories. I could write books on this stuff. I mean, here's one that comes to mind right now. I literally rolled up on someone and they said, I've got some foot pain, blah, 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 blah. And they were going on about it. And they were a mother of someone else I was working with. I was like, oh, well, let me go and see her. And I could see a lot of like serious stagnant energy in this woman. She's 80 years old, loved nursing a bottle. She'd drink a bottle of vodka every day, smoke a pack of cigarettes, the whole deal. Awesome. Loved life. Only she had her own fears. Anyway, she goes, oh, yeah, I've had this problem with my foot. I'm like, well, let me take a look at this, because she didn't believe in doctors. She only believed in energy, right? It's all about energy. Everything's about energy. So she was in line with wanting to talk to me. And so I turned up to her house and I was like, this is going to be a doozy. I can tell you, I can see it. And so when I get there and she goes, she put her foot up on a stool and I pulled the sock off. And inside my head, I went, oh. But on the outside, I was like, whoa, wow, what do we have here? What looks to be a severely advanced level of gangrene. Very good. And like her foot was black. Like, I'm not talking like, it was like, it's like you could have like literally taken like shears and cut her foot off. She wouldn't have felt a thing. Right?
Wow.
Another thing. And I was inside my personality, I was going, oh my goodness. Oh, we need to get you to the emergency room right now. And I was like, no. And I just looked at it and went, okay, let's see what we can do here. And poof, in 45 minutes, I watched that black dead tissue turn into pink flesh and blood before my very eyes in 45 minutes. Now, that is realized from a level of frequency. Now, you cannot accept that until you experience it yourself. But I promise you, the second you attune your frequency, and this is one of thousands and thousands and thousands of stories I can go on and on and on about, it's the feeling. And so until you feel it, it means nothing. Until you have truly retained that energy, frequency, vibration in the very core of you, which is at the highest level, it's nothing more than an idea. It's a notion. It's whatever. Yeah, sure.
So you have to feel it and believe it.
Well, I just have a knowing. I have my whole natural born life. Even before I was a priest, I have a knowing. And so, you just know. And so, and when you constantly get confirmation of this realization over and over again, it's a validation, right? And then it becomes real to you. But the fastest way to do that is to feel it. And so, this sounds like just, Harry Potter stuff at this point. And, it's like, until you witness it, and I could do anything from, okay, you got a back problem or this or that, whatever. It doesn't matter. Click your fingers. You'll feel it. You'll experience it. We're going to go through it. I'm going to do a transmission with Latsu coming up here in a week or so. And, we get 1,000 people in a room and we're going to have 4th of July up in there. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to bring that energy and people are going to go, holy moly, this is really happening. Yes, it is really happening because it's that simple. And so you connect that frequency and that energy vibration. And, I just suggest people to come and experience it. Hey, look, if you've got a laundry list of things that you want realized or want transmuted into completely blammo gone, put that list together, bring that to the experience, and let the energy frequency of vibration do whatever it needs to transmute that into a realized healing of whatever you want it to be. Manifestation, magic, healing. It's for you to discern. It's for you to decide. And so that limitation of realizing a Lamborghini is not in front of me in the next 3 seconds is I've never had the desire for a Lamborghini to be in front of me in the next 3 seconds. And that's why I've never witnessed it with my own very eyes. Is it possible? I know it to be 1,000% possible. Wow. And so any manifestation is realized instantaneous, but it must be 1,000% true to you. Doesn't matter what I believe. Doesn't matter what you believe. Like right now, I'm telling you this. You're like, oh, this guy's 3 cents short of $1. That's crazy. No, it's very real. And that realization, I witnessed it. I should have recorded a lot of this stuff, but it's like, I have another 100 years on this earth. I can keep recording it over and over again. Yes. It's kind of like, it's not really
we're together.
Right. And so you'll come to realize, I just mentioned it about Jade burning her hand. Did I give you the hand story about her burning her hand with her hair? Yeah, but basically, that's how fast you watch the transmutation of energy within a physical manifestation. So she grabbed the handle of the curling iron and she burnt it, and so it was a severe burn. Imagine grabbing a curling iron. You've had one, you know what it works. Yeah. It's hot. So she burned her hand, and while she was in the midst of crying, I didn't, sit down in a lotus position, get some incense, and do a bunch of other stuff. No, I connected with the energy, frequency, vibration instantaneously, shifting the energy and translated into a healing, watching the actual burn recede within her tissue till it was just pink flesh and blood. And then, I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute, I'm not sure. But it happens so quickly because once you know, It's that simple. It's just the same thing that happened with you when I heard one of his things, I wrote it down and poof. And then I was able to get you to realize that's an incantation. You just put an incantation together. Oh, I was journaling. No, you were crafting your own reality right there. And it became realized. And so the thing that you have to do, and it happens that fast. So the thing that you need to come to is either you witness me do it, which then it becomes realized from a neurological standpoint because you've now accepted it. It's like visually, I've seen him do it. Or in turn, you realize it yourself. And so that's the deep-seated thing. And you could see, oh, look, Sifu did this half a dozen times, and I'm still having a tough time with it because in the core of me, from DNA integrated past generational stuff, I have this seed of fear. Well, this is the generation for you to dissolve that and to make it realized. And then that will also ripple out into your children, just so you know, because they're a product of your conception, realization, creation. So half of the traits that they have are contributed by your husband and yourself that generate their worldview, their personality, their thoughts, their ideas, how they realize things. And then you start with that, and then most people sort of veer off into other areas. But in reality, they're already seeded into that state from past generations. So now it's like that moment of consciousness for you is, what is it? What's that? What's that? I love that Mary J. Blige song. No more fear. No more fear in my life. Is it no more fear in my life? Like, no, I think it is, right? Like she's got such an angelic voice, right? No more fear in my life. I mean, she's a badass. She really is.
I like her song. I don't know if you've heard it. If not, you gotta listen to it. It's called "Good Morning, Gorgeous."
I haven't, but I probably have. I mean, more than likely or not.
She's just talking about waking up and telling yourself that you're gorgeous and not, being concerned with the issues that you've gone through in life and all these things and, competing with others, just accepting who you are, the beautiful being that you
Right,
are.
right.
And so I've played it for my clients before because, especially those that deal with like self-esteem and, not feeling good enough and all those things, women sometimes we
And
kind of
she
have.
and I mean, and the ironic part with her is she has a lot of self-doubt and a lot of pain and suffering that she's come from. I'm not familiar with the story, but what I can see is like
She's probably
there's some
singing to
stuff.
herself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it materializes into this angelic sort of realization. And so, again, that validation will come when you experience. That's why I always say the truth is only what you believe and is the only truth you need to be concerned with. The most important is your realization. So, uh, speaking on it, talkie, which is what I always say, I'm not a talkie. I'm a showy. I'm a
Mhm.
doer, not a donor. I will show you. And it's like, whether it's an energetic moment where you take a glimpse of something that I've shared with you across that plane, and then you're able to materialize it and realize it in your reality just from, I just listened to this guy and blah, blah, wow, it's that fast. And all of it's the same. None of it is any different than something else. And once you master that feeling, oh, now we go to the right. Now we're on a whole nother level. Now, I would suggest you look at my manifestation video that I have on my YouTube channel, and
Okay.
it goes into great detail, the ebb and flow. And so you will understand by the end of that video, you will take that, apply that to your own manifestation instantaneously. People love it because it's like, I'm doing that. Yeah. But now you understand how you do it and when you do it and why you do it. And so, in a nutshell, you take a song, any song, and you find the peak that gets you completely high as a kite. The thing that for
That's
me,
my jam.
right, yeah, for me, it's genuine. It's like
Oh,
I'm genuine. Have you ever watched any of my podcasts? They're like, oh, it's coming to the end of the podcast. See if it's going to pull out genuine. I'm like, damn straight I am.
okay.
That's
I
that's
love
my
it.
that's
I love
my
it.
that's my guy. He's got an angelic voice.
Right.
It's just like, man, there's just nothing like it. Just sink me into that
Oh my
state,
gosh.
man. I
That's
just like
so funny.
fade away, just go out there, and it is just something else. He's just an incredible being. And so,
You're the coolest priest I know. I just want you to know this. Like everybody needs to know you.
and so
Were you
you
black
will
in another life? Like in the past life?
most likely, if I look into
My
it, probably
brother.
am. Yeah, that's right. Probably am. I mean, it's just like there's just so many incredible gifts out there. People need to realize that. And so when you take that peak of the song, that's the ebb and flow. When people talk about the universe is dynamic, it's not static. So the new realization within quantum physics is it's pulsating all the time. So it's always doing this. And so all you need to do to realize the manifestation, you took the peak of whatever inspired you within my short, you got the charge of that energy and went, whoa,
I
whoa.
did.
And then you wrote it down, and then it was infused into that incantation. Then poof, it happened. Then
Mm.
you walked out and bam, and you're like, I manifested that in like 3 seconds. Damn straight you did.
Yeah.
That's how it works. And so you hit that ebb and flow, that wave, right? And so what happens is the wave is like, I use the analogy, you go out into the ocean with your surfboard and you're waiting for the wave to go by. You're not going to jump on a wave that's a little baby wave. You're going to wait till the big Kahuna wave that's super high. And that's what the flow of the energy is within the universe. It's happening in you, around you, outside of you, all day, every day. And you just tune into that. And once you tune into that, magic, healing, manifestation, bam. And so the big thing is not to separate, it's to realize. So if you start going, okay, Sifu said that, I can feel it. Okay, I want a big house. I want a bag of money. I want no, because you realize you are the universe.
Mhm.
As our friend that I mentioned before, Billy said, I
Mhm.
command that, right?
Yeah.
Like he literally said that, and I was like, damn straight, my friend. That's what I'm talking about, because it's like you are the universe. So it's a matter of saying bag of money, house, whatever, because it's being realized.
Mm.
You don't have to like negotiate with it and go, hey, universe, what are you thinking? Are you in the mood to help me out here? No, this is not how this works. This is like you are realized as the universe. So the universe is all knowing. The universe is all manifesting, all healing, all magic, all day, every day. And it takes place instantaneously because it's the universe. So when you come to that aha, ebb and flow moment, bam, that's all you do. And so you can, bam, that's right. But well, I like to say blammo, but it's like blammo. And
Demo.
so, and that's really what it comes down to. So, I mean, you're oscillating just with this information. You're just like
I
getting
am.
brighter and brighter.
I
I'm
feel like
sorry, my eyes are starting to burn from the amount of juice that's coming out of the light is coming out of you, my friend. And it's because it is a realization. It's like, hey, and I was doing that. Hang on. I do that every time I hear a piece of music that I love. And then, I'll go one step further. I'm the genuine, but I'm a 90s guy. So bust me out some TLC and I'm all
oh
good,
yeah.
right? Straight up. You know what I mean? So it's genuine TLC. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and their music is so powerful. I don't think people truly understand when you bust out a TLC song, because that's coming from their truth teller. Not that all music is always coming from the truth teller of the creator, but there's a lot of pain and heartache that's coming out of that's being raised up into divine frequency, man. And I tell you, it's beautiful. You sit and people kind of go, oh yeah, there's those girl rappers from the 90s, right? Oh no. They are storytellers. They are creators. They are manifestors. They are, whew, uh, you know, uh,
When my song comes out, I'm gonna send it to you and see what you
oh,
think.
oh,
Yeah.
I can't wait. I already know. Spoiler alert. It's amazing. Spoiler alert. I mean, anything that, and I will
It's
show you some of
Afrobeat.
it. Well, pardon me. What's
Afrobeats.
it?
The music behind is Afrobeats.
Oh, I can't
You
wait.
can dance to it and I'm
Well, you're
singing.
going to be very, very dangerous, my friend, when I teach you the tonality, the 9 tones that you use for healing. You're
Oh
going to
yeah.
be very, very dangerous, very
Oh,
dangerous in a good way because it's so easy to just you can tune into it. You have got this angelic voice, so it's like you'll go, oh, these are easy. Oh yeah, boom, and watch you transform things in front of your very eyes, and you
wow.
supply it to anything. So when you sort of get to a place where there's certain energies that come up, you may just want to draw in direct divine source energy without even messing with having to regulate a specific color, and you will just blast it like
Wow. Well,
right
I've been
away.
saying for a while that I've said not I want to, but I make mental health music. So my goal is to make music that is just like that. It just takes your frequency up and your vibration up and it allows you to dance and feel good, feel good and feel like you don't have to stay stuck in whatever it is that you've experienced in life. You can literally catapult, how do you say that? Catapult yourself to another level just by
Yeah.
listening to what I share.